What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I'm wearing my green today. It's March 17th, St. Patrick's Day at the time of recording this episode. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. Still lean, still mean, still undefeated. Of course, the Alexis Arguello puppet, needeth I say more, a living legend. Although, of course, he's a puppet, so he's not living. But always love for El Flaco Explosivo. Nobody did it better. And I'm very excited. You should be very excited because if you're watching this right now, congrats to you because you have tapped into the best boxing conversations anywhere in the world, much less the internet. This is the place where legends, luminaries, and guys that are on the rise come to chop it up. And today we have one of those young guys. And I'm excited to have him on. But I'm excited to have everybody on. So it doesn't take much to get a guy in his 50s like me excited. Maybe I don't get out enough. I don't know. But, well, that's probably the case. There is no but. But this young guy today is, another guy that's on the come up, on the rise in a very exciting, let me get my notes, in a very exciting welterweight division. And yes, I do need notes. The mind goes when you're over the age of 50 and a habitual marijuana user. So I digress. I need notes. Full disclosure. Alexis Arguello needs notes. And our guest is here, so let me shut up. I know you guys are probably all saying, amen, Rex. Come on, let's get a guest in here. Done and done. There he is. What's up, Wilson?
What's going on, my man? How you doing?
Listen, man, I a little confusion that I got to dispel of right now, man. So when we say Wilson Alex, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, Alex it's part of my name too, but my last name is Mascarenhas. Alex is just it's part of my middle name as well. So I have a long name, man. I have a long name, so I get to choose what I put sometimes.
Yeah. I have a long last name too. I mean, obviously, I use a screen name alter ego for this show, but yeah, it does suck having a long name, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gets confusing sometimes. So I get a bunch of different questions. Sometimes, hey, what's your name? And I'll be like, yo, I have a bunch of different names, man. I have a maiden name.
Mascarenhas, correct?
Yeah, yes, Wilson
Yeah.
Mascarenhas, yes.
Well, people are trying to look you up or check you out on BoxRec, and that's how I found you on BoxRec too, man. 9-1. So you're a guy that's just getting out into the sport. What kind of amateur career did you have?
Amateur career. I didn't have too much of an amateur career. I only had nine amateur fights. I had I won Golden Gloves one time. And that was really it. And then I decided to go professional. I figured I thought I had like the professional type of style for me. Instead of the amateur. So yeah, I didn't have too much of a long amateur background, so I decided to just go pro. The team tie was a good idea as well, so we went forward with it.
And so how does a guy like you get into boxing? Because I tend to find that, and I've had a lot of guests on here from guys that have done it for years and years and years, to guys on the come up like yourself. It always seems to be one of two stories, Wilson. It's always either a father pushed them into it, or they got into a lot of fights as kids, or sometimes it's both.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, as far as my family, I'm probably the only boxer coming out of my family. The first one to probably do any type of professional sports as a professional athlete. But yeah, my background fires, choosing boxing, it was just the simple fact of, getting into a lot of trouble, always getting into situations, finding myself fighting the law. Not that I like to fight in the streets a lot, but I always found myself in a situation where I had to handle my own business. And then sooner or later I got myself into a boxing gym. I always liked the fight and combat sports, and then boxing was one of the things that I didn't get to try far as like sports wise. And I decided to get into a boxing gym. It was never to become a career or anything, but I found myself liking the sport. I found myself learning a lot. And then the next thing I was just like, let me just go forward and see how far it takes me. And here we are, you know what I mean? So it's a blessing in disguise, you know.
And did you have that guy that you kind of put up on that pedestal when you were getting started? Like we all kind of have that hero, that guy in the sport that we're in that we idolize or whatever. Was there that guy for you?
There was really that guy for me, but there was always a person like, when I started watching a lot more boxing, it was always I came into the era where it was like a lot of Floyd going on. So,
Yeah,
I was just watching a lot of Floyd, just liking the art, the craft, how Floyd did his thing. And it was just one of those things. Like I was like, oh man, this boxing thing is really a art, and then I just started searching him and then looking up to more different fighters, Roe Jones, Pernell Whitaker, just watching different guys, and I was just like, man, this thing is really it's really a it's really a craft. It's really a art.
it
You know what I
is.
mean?
It's
And
nice to
and
hear a
then
young guy like you say that too, because I think that a lot of people, especially people that are casuals, I don't think they look at it as anything more than two guys getting in there and trying to punch each other. But there is
no,
much
of
more.
course.
There's much more subtle aspects to it, though.
No, absolutely. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, I had that figured out the first time I got into a gym or the first time I started getting more into boxing. But after a while just looking and then searching, I came to find out that wow, this is really a art kind of thing. And then I started learning more as I went and then, just started going and going.
Now, as a guy who's
Mhm.
grinding and trying to come up in the sport, obviously, at the end of the day, the name of the game is you're trying to make money in this sport. But when you see a guy like Jake Paul, who's kind of a novice at this, when you see these kind of fights, and it's a very polarizing topic. I hear both sides of the coin on this show. But
Right.
where do you stand on it? Is it good for boxing? Is it a bunch of bullshit? I mean, how do you view it?
I mean, I don't mean I don't have too much to say about it. I mean, everybody gets to do what they own. How everybody gets to do their own thing. You know what I mean? I get it. I get that the boxing now is becoming more of a business type of sport. It's a lot of politics going on. It's a lot of money going on. It's a lot of money involved. So I don't have too much comments to say, right? But at the end of the day, it's like it kind of sucks for the guys that's in the gym working hard to make this as a living and to really get to the top where they want to get to, and then have a guy that just comes out of nowhere and is at the top fighting the best and
Yeah,
meeting with the best. You know what I mean? It's kind of tough
yeah.
for us, especially us. Like I said, especially us fighters that's really grinding out every day to get to the top or get that chance to fight for a world championship belt. You know what I mean? It's kind of tough to get to see something like that. So, I mean, much respect to him, and
He's
hopefully it
making
goes.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Absolutely.
Now,
So, go
now
ahead.
you're originally from Portugal. Like, were you born in Portugal?
Yes, I was born in Portugal. I'm Cape Verdean. Cape Verdean descendant. Obviously, it breaks down from the Portuguese. So yeah, I was born there. I moved over here when I was about 12 years old, and I've been here since.
I was just having this discussion with somebody at work. Obviously, it's St. Patrick's Day today. I have a lot of Irish in
Right.
me. I had to wear my Irish hat today to put on something green, to
Respect,
represent
respect.
a little bit. But the Irish, though, when I really think about it, not really well known for their cuisine. What's the best dish in Portugal? Like, what's the go-to if you're in Portugal? Like, what's a dish that is always hitting for people over there?
Oh man.
I don't mean to take a
uh
left into food here, but I mean,
I mean, I believe, me personally, I feel like the octopus with like, with potatoes and the carrots and stuff like that. The codfish, which is called bacalhau. Um,
is it good?
yeah, it's good. It's good.
Is
The
octopus good? Because I think a lot of people would probably think of what an octopus looks like. This is the problem that I have sometimes, why I won't eat lobster. I think about what it looks like in that friggin' tank with those tentacles and those claws.
nah,
I think
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of people
nah.
look at octopus with all the squiggly arms and everything, and they think I wouldn't eat that.
Nah, I mean, me personally saying, I think it's good. I like it. But also, you have to go somewhere where they prep it well, where they cook it well, where
Probably
it's
doing it
really
right.
good. You know what I mean? You can't just eat it anywhere. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's my take on it. You can't just have it anywhere. You cannot just go, oh, let me go to this restaurant. Let me just ask for this dish. No, it has to be a restaurant where it's really known, well known, and that's known for their specialty, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So,
Fair enough. If I get over there, I'll try the octopus, man. You got me
hey,
convinced.
hey, for me, at least that's for me. That's what it is. I like that. You know what I
I try
mean?
to be open minded about food. You
No,
got to be.
absolutely. I
He
mean,
only lost one.
even if you happen to come by Boston, come by New Bedford, because that's where I'm from. There's a lot of we're very diverse and culture wise. There's the Portuguese, there's the Spanish, there's the Cape Verdeans as well, and we have a little bit of everything over here. So you can definitely come by. There's a lot of different restaurants that you can try. Portuguese restaurant, Cape Verdean restaurant, Spanish restaurants, and then there's a variety of different restaurants that you can try. So
Well,
definitely come by, man. Yeah.
The Irish don't have nothing more than potatoes and cabbage. So I mean, yeah, we're kind of ass out when it comes to the dietary
Um,
department.
where you from? Where you from? Where you originally from?
I'm in upstate New York.
Okay, okay. There's a lot of competition over
I'm
there in
actually
New
right
York.
in the backyard of the Hall of Fame, Boxing Hall of Fame.
Nice, nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Hey, shout out to New York, man. I know there's a lot of hard fighters. There's a lot of
yeah,
hard working guys coming out of New York.
yeah.
I tip my hat to New York, man.
I was
There's
just
some great
I was just at the fights at the casino a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, we do got some good ones.
great competition out there. Great competition out there.
Yeah, I saw Shushu. He was at the fights. He was watching, but I mean, Troy Isley was on that card. I don't think he's a New York guy. I mean, but I know Shushu's a New York guy though.
Yep. Yo, he's a great fighter as well, man. Shout out to him for
So
sure.
speaking of great fighters, what do we know about this? I'm gonna get his name right. Braulio Rodriguez. That's who you're fighting on the 23rd of this month, next weekend.
Yeah, next weekend, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. Ready to perform, ready to put on the show. Shout out to CS Boxing. Shout out to Jimmy Bridgefield, the promoter. For getting me on that card, and we're ready to perform and we're ready to show out. Faz my opponent. Shout out to him as well. He's not here to defend his name, but hell of a guy, hell of a fighter. Comes to fight, comes to put on a show as well. So, and I know that he's coming to, I know he's coming to win. You know what I mean? As much as I want to win. So, may the best man win, March 23rd. And we just know that he got in there with a couple of great guys. He got in there with a couple of great names as well. He has a good record. And that's what we want. We want great fights and we want great competition. So,
Now,
we're ready.
Now, at this stage of your career, you're obviously, getting your feet wet and getting started in the sport. But when you look at boxing right now as a whole, there's always a lot of guys out there right now who feel that they're the cream of the crop of the sport, and everybody seems to be obsessed with this. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the face of boxing. Who is that guy for you right now? A lot of people still say it's Canelo until somebody knocks him off. Some people say it's Crawford. Some people say it's Haney. Do you have an idea in your mind, just subjectively speaking, of course, who it is for you?
For me personally speaking, I'm looking at between Javante Tank Davis and and Crawford.
Yeah,
I feel like those are my those are great fighters. The especially Crawford is an all around great fighter. You know,
amazing.
he can fight in, out, both sides, both stances. Can't throw with both hands. You know what I mean? He's a art, you know what I mean? It's great to watch Crawford win. You always get to learn something from him as well, and that's what I like. I like to watch fighters that I can learn something from, and I can be like, you know what, let me try that in the gym, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Fires Tank, I just like the dog that he has. Not saying that no other fighters have the dog in them, but we all know that, Tank is the real deal as well. So, shout out to those fighters and shout out to every fighter that gets to step in that square ring, you know what I mean? It's a tough sport. It's a technical sport. It's a hurt it's a hurt business, and shout out to everybody that's doing it. It's not easy to get in there and just you know get ready to win. You know what I mean? So shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody.
An interesting thing, I had Bomac on here, Terrence Crawford's coach, and I had to ask him because I was so curious because it does seem like Bud just is able to make adjustments on the fly and switch to southpaw. And I wondered, with Bomac being his coach, I had to ask him if that drives him crazy. Like if they have a game plan and Bud kind of goes off the script, so to speak,
Right, yeah.
and kind of does his own thing. But I think Bomac, as a trainer, has complete confidence in him. At least that's what he kind of like alluded to me, that if Bud sees something out there, and Bud switches up the game plan, he's got complete confidence in him.
And I feel like, and that's great, man. That's great. That means that just goes to show you their chemistry as the coach and fighter, fighter and coach. The trust as well that he has in his fighter. And
Yeah,
to really feed off each other and be like, as a fighter to be like, coach, I think I could do this. Let me, and the coach to be like, I believe in you. Let's, get it done. If that's how you feel, get it done. I mean, I'm not in there, but I'm outside. I'm outside. I'm looking in. You know what I mean? It's a trust thing. You know what I mean? They have their own chemistry and they understand each other. And when Bud says something that he believes that it could go right, hey, why not try it? You know what I mean? And and Bomac as being the coach, being in the corner as well, he trusts his fighter to, to get the job done. So hey, I mean, each team has their own little, has their own little belief. So if that's what works for them, that's what works for them, and salute to them.
Do you feel like when you get out of the sport that you're the kind of guy that's gonna always keep a foot in the sport? Like, do you foresee like life after boxing? And I know you're very early in your career, so maybe
Yeah,
this
right,
is
right.
the cart before the horse, and it's a little too early to think about this. But do you feel like boxing will always be a part of your life? Do you envision yourself, speaking of Bomac, as a trainer, as a coach in the sport in some way?
I feel like, far as for me, I feel like I feel like I owe a little bit to boxing fires of where I'm at now, and to where it got me. So I feel like I could at least give back to my community, far as like, being able to be that person to kind of help out, be that person to kind of connect the youth to the right people to get them to where they want to go. Far as being a coach, I don't know, but I would rather be the guy in the outside kind of telling them like, hey, work on this, work on that. I think you
Yeah.
should. I think you look good on this. I think you should work on this. You know what I mean? But far as the coach right now, I feel like I'm still learning. Who knows? Maybe later on, maybe in maybe in 20 years, maybe I could be like, I think I'm ready to be a coach because I feel like I've learned enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To where I could have a fighter trust in me. You know what I mean? As of right now, I'm still a student to the game. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. So as of right now, I'd rather be that guy on the outside and just be like, hey, let the coach do the talking, and me, I'll just be like, hey, as a fighter, I feel like you should do this, try to work on this, see if that works for you, and just kind of give them tips here and there, not trying to step on anybody's toes, man.
I love that attitude though, because you do see a lot of young guys, who kind of think they get a couple of fights under their belt and they do have it all figured out.
Nah, man, not at all, man. Like I said, I'm a student to the game, man. I um I learned a lot from different fighters. I learned a lot from even the amateur fighters. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, um, you gotta respect those that's been doing it for a while. I've been doing it for a little bit, but there's those that's been doing it a little bit longer than me, and I believe that there's those that know more than me. And I'm open in ear, and I'm open ears. You know what I mean? I listen. I like to study. I like to listen to those that know a little bit more. And I'm never the guy that comes around trying to show off like I know everything, because I don't. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I even learn from I even learn from amateurs. You know what I mean?
What do you think is the biggest part of your game that you've improved the most, that you're the most proud of?
For me personally,
Yeah.
being able to control myself, being able to control my heart before I get into the ring, just being able to stay calm, staying composed, and just staying at peace with myself, and just regulate my heart. And once
That's
I
an
get in there,
interesting
just
point
stay
that you
calm.
bring up, though, because we do all have that fight or flight syndrome, though, where most of us don't want a confrontation. Our heart does start beating a lot when we're going to go into a physical confrontation.
Right.
How do you do that? I mean, like, what's the exercise that gets you to kind of control that for people that don't know?
For me, I listen. I like to listen to music, man. I like to listen to music. I like to listen to a lot to Sade. It keeps me calm. It keeps me active, and and just just being able to stay in the back room and focus on the game plan. Do a little shadow boxing. Focus. Keep my head in the game. Try to think a little bit of my opponent, seeing what he's gonna come with, and just kind of stay try to stay in the present. You know what I mean? Not trying to focus too much on the future, not worry about the past, but just focus on the present in that moment and work on what I need to work on at that specific moment. So when I go out there, I get to perform the way I want to perform. Not never try to get ahead of myself.
Now, what about as far as activity? How active would you like to be in 2024? We're obviously a couple months into the new year now. How active would you like to be?
I mean, right now, I've been active since I started. I try to go anywhere from three fights a year. Maybe I'm hoping to go a little bit more this year, maybe four. We're stepping up to soon after this. Maybe we're stepping up to 8 rounds, and it all depends how the fights go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I definitely plan on staying active this year and getting to where I need to get to.
Now you're a welterweight right now. Do you feel like possible any changes to another weight division?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Later on, me and the team, we're gonna get to sit down and and figure that out. But as of right now, I feel comfortable where I'm at. It's easy to make weight. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. And then if in the future we feel like we need to move up a little bit, then we might go up, then maybe come back down. But if we have to stay where we want to stay, then we'll make that happen. But as of right now, I'm comfortable. I'm happy where I'm at. And this is where the most fights get to be made. So I'm good where I'm at right now, to be honest.
What's the if you could put your promoter hat on, regardless of how much experience the person has, if you could put your promoter hat on right now, and there was a dream bout you could make with yourself with anybody at welterweight, who would that person be?
Hmm. At 140, who could it be?
A
I
lot
mean,
of big fish
obviously,
out
I
there
mean,
too.
obviously, I want to. Obviously, I don't know, but anybody that's top 10, top 15, I'm willing to get because that's where my goal is at right now, right? So I feel like anybody that's at that top 10, top 15, anybody can anybody can get it. I feel like that's what I'm feeling right now. So if I can get any of those guys up there to really kind of prove myself that I belong there, then absolutely any of those guys. I don't know who, I don't know exactly who, but definitely that's the goal right now. That's where I'm trying to get to. That's where I'm gonna get to.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where it is.
I love the projected confidence, though. That's important right there. I had James Toney on this show, man, and you couldn't tell him otherwise, man. Even guys who he had lost to, he still wouldn't tell you that he lost the fight. I think you got to have that
Yeah,
swagger
yeah.
and that confidence all the time. The man just will not, and you probably have to have that. And he was towing the line between arrogance and confidence, but it was definitely more confidence, though. And I think you need
Right,
that.
right.
You really
No,
need to think that
absolutely,
you really need to
absolutely.
think that you're the shit in this sport. You have to.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta believe in yourself. You know what I mean? Being arrogant, it's tough, but but at least be confident in yourself. Be confident in the work that you put in. Be confident that you work hard. That that you dedicated to the sport. Because at the end of the day, that's where your confidence comes from, right? It's about how much work you put in, how much work you're willing to put in, how far you're willing to go, how much you're willing to learn, and how much you're willing to grow. So, in me, I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to learn. I'm like I said, I'm a student to the game. I put the work in. I work hard. I'm dedicated, and that's just what it is.
And since you're a junior welterweight right now, you're fighting at 140. That's
Yes.
obviously a division that is really popping right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
it is just really deep with talent right now. And I just want to get your take when you see this Ryan Garcia Devin Haney fight coming up, and you see a lot of the crazy stuff that's on social media. If you were fighting Ryan Garcia, what would you look at that as? Do you feel like that's a ploy to maybe make him think make Haney think he's a little psychologically off balance? Do you think he actually is psychologically off balance? Do you think he's trying to get out of the fight? Like, what would be your theory on it?
Me personally, I'm me personally, man, when I'm getting ready for fights, I don't care what the opponent's going through. Not so much what the opponent's going through. I'm not trying to focus on so much of my opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, I feel like that's between the promoters. I'm gonna stick to my plan. I'm gonna get my work done. I'm gonna stay dedicated to my craft. And by the time the fight night comes, if the fight is on, the fight is on. If the fight is not on, it is what it is. But me personally, I gotta stay focused on what I have to do in the gym. I can't be focused on my opponent. You know what I mean? If it's mental stuff that he's going through, hey, God bless him. All praise to him. But at the end of the day, it's like I still gotta stay focused on what I'm gonna do until changes are made, until anything's brought up to my attention that needs to be changed. It is what it is. But until then, I gotta stay focused on what I'm doing, and I'm not really too worried on the outside noise. You know what I mean? I don't need no distractions. I don't need no mental no mental distractions. So I'm just gonna stick to my plan, stick to the game plan, and that's just what it is.
and what's life like outside of the ring, man? How do you keep yourself busy outside the ring?
I train all year round. I try to stay as active as possible. I also work as well. I have a 9 to 5 as
The
well.
day
Because
job, the dreaded day job. Yep.
yeah, man, you know what I mean. So and that's just what it is. Just try to stay connected to the youth. You know what I mean. Try to
Yeah,
be as much of a role model to the people around me, to my community, and like I said, just try to stay as much in the gym as possible, and just stay busy. Watch a lot of boxing,
yeah.
stay active, and that's the main thing. You know what I mean. Even if I'm not fighting, I'm still active. I'm still I'm still thinking boxing. I'm still sleeping boxing. I'm still, keeping boxing live in my mind. You know what I
That's the
mean?
way to the
So
top. That's the way to the top
yeah,
right there.
exactly. You know what I mean? So, um, sometimes it's tough, but that's what it is, man. It's what we chose to do. So we
It's a
gotta
sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. It is for sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
And just think, when you do move up those weight divisions, man, more octopus. You won't have
You
to
know
work.
that. You know
Yeah,
that. You
yeah.
know.
You
Say
go
that.
up a couple weight divisions, man. All the octopus you want, right?
Hell yeah, absolutely. Now, right? You got to really worry about too much weight.
Listen,
So
bro.
yeah, absolutely, man.
I'm glad we got a chance to do this, man, and I appreciate you doing it, man. And I hope you'll stay in touch. I'd love to have you on again, man.
No, absolutely, man. Hey, shout out to you, man. Thank you so much for this opportunity, man. I'm happy. It was a
Yeah,
great conversation, man. Hey,
did. I feel the
good
same
energy,
way.
good energy. I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
I appreciate that. I try to bring good energy, and I just try to keep it informative yet fun, man. Because at the end of the day, I just like chopping it up with guys in a sport that I really love and care about. But it really just about chopping it up. I hate to make the interviews feel forced, like asking you this, and this. It gets so it
Nah,
gets
nah, no,
after a
absolutely. No, I
while,
get it. I get it. I get it.
you
But
know.
nah, like I said, it was great energy. This is exactly what I needed a week before my fight, man. I feel good. I feel great. Like I said, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for a great conversation. That's all
I
that matters.
appreciate you saying that, brother, and we will definitely do it again. And best of luck next
Yes.
week, man. I'll be watching, man.
Yes, sounds good, man. Let's tune in.
Appreciate you, Will. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Have
All
a
right,
good
have
one.
a good one,
All
brother.
right.
Much love.
Much love.
There he goes, folks. Wilson Alex, aka Wilson Mascarenhas, aka Ill Will. Go check him out, man. Guys in the junior welterweight division, 9-1. Another guy on the come up, and that's a guy that's got it going on right here, man. A student of the game. Love the attitude on it, man. That's a kid that's going to go places right there, man. I mean, you know, he's got it figured out, man. And you don't hear that kind of poise and that kind of wisdom from guys that young very often, though, man. And again, if he changes weight divisions, man, more octopus, man. Get the arms and the tentacles going. Serve it up. But right now, he's a junior welterweight. Let's keep him there, man. So pull back on the octopus, kids. Alexis Arguello says he would never touch octopus. You're not from Portugal, though. You're from Nicaragua. Different cuisines. And of course, me having the Irish, as I alluded to in the interview, we are not much known for cuisine. Cabbage, no taste. Boiled potatoes, no taste. Corned beef, very salty, but how much of it can you really eat? But anyway, happy St. Patrick's Day. By the time this episode gets up, we'll probably be past St. Patrick's Day, but today is St. Patrick's Day. We're all Irish. That was a great conversation with a great young man, Wilson Mascarenhas. Appreciate him coming out here and doing this, man. Keep an eye on that kid, man. As I said, 9-1 and on the fast track to success. And I love to see that, man. Make sure to like and follow us on Facebook. And also be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Do yourself a favor, because you're not going to get better boxing conversations. It's all just, every interview is a shoes off, laid back. Let's chop it up about whatever. We might be talking boxing. We might be talking octopus. You just never know on Off the Couch Boxing. And that's what keeps it interesting, folks. And that's what keeps you guys coming back, I like to think. So make sure to tune in, stay tapped in, like and follow us on Facebook. As I said, I'm repeating myself in my old age. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay tapped into the best boxing content anywhere. Alexis Arguello said so. Let me rewind that. Reckless Rex Ruger, your esteemed host, also said so. So make sure you stay tapped in, man. And make sure that you remember that if you want to be a champion, you have to roll with the champs.